They control the flow of the gate. That thing is emergency.
On top of that.
But yeah, that's,
I was kind of concerned about it when I got the email.
Steve Garrison says that? Oh, go away, go away. We need a 10-year-old.
Yeah, really.
yeah, we'll
We'll see.
figure it out. I just want to make something.
My son got out at 11 or 12.
Yeah.
My wife had to get him
Bought this several years ago from Joseph,
program of gas switch.
Oh, yeah.
which was, yeah, there used to be Bell's Traditional, but
I need to turn off the auto lock.
So how do you, okay,
You have a code.
yeah,
You know what it is?
yeah. That will change it.
Have you guys figured out how to turn off the auto lock for your screen yet?
No, because I didn't know they had one.
I can fix that for you.
What's an auto lock?
It says under this display and brightness, it'll automatically turn off during meetings if you don't have it turned off right there.
This is
Under settings,
Yeah.
display and brightness.
Display and brightness.
And then auto lock at the bottom.
never. There you go.
During meetings, yeah.
We're just getting so high tech here now. We have tablets for the, but we're doing.
And when you swipe up, you've got your meetings
We're good.
right here at the top.
So we'll see whether David in his ancient age is still able to navigate this high tech, but
I think I'm older than Dave.
That's
I
a
don't
low
know.
shot.
I was just thinking. I could have said Patrick.
Young,
it would've
young,
been a laugh.
young at heart.
Is that what we're
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. We'll call to order the Town of Lake Lure Marine Commission regular meeting Tuesday, June the 11th at 4 p.m. Having had an opportunity to review the agenda, are there any edits?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Then the agenda stands approved unanimously as posted. We will now move to the next section, which is public comment. I do not have the sheet.
Yeah, we didn't have anyone sign up.
Oh, no
Okay.
one signed up. However, if there is someone who did not have an opportunity to sign up and you would like to make a public comment, then you may approach the podium and give us your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? Well,
Good.
we are always glad when you do have a comment. So we will move on then to our consent agenda. Having had a chance to review that, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as posted?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as posted.
Madam Mayor, I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is unanimously approved. There being no unfinished business, because we are so efficient, we will move on to the appeal hearings. The first appeal is request to appeal civil citation number 000252. And I will defer to
Ms. Dana Bradley, please.
Ms. Dana Bradley. Thank you.
Yeah, so on this case, Mr. Dietrich was operating a vacation rental and had become friends with the person staying there and agreed to let him take out his boat from time to time. The person renting had gotten a citation, and that's how we found out about this arrangement. I don't believe he was purposely trying to get out of anything, but that is a violation of the lake use regulations. He would need to be in the commercial model to have someone using his boat with a vacation rental.
Right.
So I issued this citation.
All right, any other comments,
When-
questions from the commission?
Yeah, I do have one.
All right.
When the individual took the boat out, did Mr. Dietrich inform him of the lake license, the Lake Lure license that needs to be the boater's license that he has to have?
I am not sure.
Okay. I mean, obviously, the reason he was stopped because he was speeding in a no-wake zone, so
He was indeed.
I'm beginning, I mean, that makes me think that he did not know, or he was not paying attention, or, doesn't matter, that's part of the challenge when you,
Yeah, I'd have to go back to the original citation to see if he received a citation for not having a
Yeah.
boater's license as well. Because I can't quite remember that one.
Is Mr. Dietrich here? He's not here. Okay. I'll just for the record, when you look at these things, the one thing I look at is, what if, in this situation, that individual who had the boat loaned to him got into a boating accident? I mean, it's just a disaster, right? There's no commercial insurance on the boat because it's not in the commercial model. It's shared liability with the town of Lake Lure, so not only is he on the hook for having an unauthorized user, but the town of Lake Lure is on the hook for that liability as well. It's a disaster. That's why we have these rules. So if you have a vacation rental, it becomes commercial property. And if you allow a boat to operate from commercial property, it's gotta be in the commercial model, period. That's my feeling on it, so I do not support any reduction.
Any other discussion or questions?
I had one question. Did this tenant rent the house for 3 months?
He did.
Does that fall out of our realm of vacation rental?
So we discussed that at the meetings, and it did not. Because he didn't have like a formal contract for staying that long.
So he didn't have a lease, he was just running through Airbnb.
Yeah, I believe that was the
Yeah,
case.
that's all
Yeah, I think it says that in there, Jim, too. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I read that part.
Do you think it would be different, Jim, if it were a long-term?
Well, if it didn't fall into the definition of vacation rental,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't be
Yeah.
applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember reaching out to Mike Williams about this to see if it fell within his realm, and he didn't think it did. And so it kind of kicked back to us since it was just vacation rental.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I mean, even without even with the time rented, if it's on Airbnb, then the implication is it's a
It's a
vacation.
commercial, that's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, the precedent gets set as, once it's on there, we'll go one or the other if you rent it to family for a month or two and they don't go through the model, but if you're using it for that purpose, it falls under that 4.08A.
Exactly. yeah.
Commercial purposes
And
without
it's-
a valid lake permit, so.
Yeah. As soon as I explained that to him, he, stopped the use, but
Okay, yeah,
I had issued the citation already.
Right.
okay. So,
So
need a motion?
I think we need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we deny the request to appeal civil citation number 0000252.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And unanimously, the board has voted to deny the appeal for citation number 0000252. Thank you, Dana, very much. We will now move on to new business, one of the things that we look forward to every year, and that is the Boy Scouts Troop 605 Annual Report.
I don't see them.
Yeah, I didn't either.
They're not here.
That's what I'm saying, where are they?
Did you hear anything?
I have not heard that they weren't coming, so I'm not sure where they are.
We think,
Wonder
they
if
may have thought
they were-
5.
Wonder if they thought they'd be at the town meeting.
Do you think they might have thought they were at the town council meeting?
I told them 4, but
Could be.
we will.
That's okay.
Last year, I think they did at 5 o'clock,
Can we-
Uh-huh,
I think.
they did, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
well,
just
we'll just
move.
move on. If they
That's
come to the
fair.
town council meeting, we'll
Mhm.
just make an
We
addendum.
like the Boy Scouts.
Amendment to
Addendum,
that. We
okay.
I like that they take it seriously, Boy Scouts,
Okay.
their presentation for why they should be allowed, which nobody would ever deny them. But I like it that they take it seriously. All right, we'll move on then. Item B, request to appeal denial of a 2024 boat permit for a motorized vessel exceeding the 21-foot length limit. Is that Dana?
So Mr. Dennis had come in trying to get a boat permit for a vessel that exceeded our length limits, and it's due to his swim platform. It is not a removable swim platform, and so in our lake use regulations, we have to measure that in it. If it was a removable swim platform, then we don't measure it. But, so he came in and he did a presentation on, why he thinks this boat should be an exception. It's really lightweight and this and this. But it still does not meet our regulations. But I think he submitted a letter that he just wanted y'all to look at, just asking for us to reconsider the regulations.
He is here, so.
It
he
would
may-
have helped me if there was a photograph
A photograph?
of the boat.
Think I've got one.
The second row.
Oh, would you like?
In a minute, in a minute.
Yeah, you just pass it down. Yeah, I've already. So,
All right, that's not it.
That's another boat, that's not the boat,
That's not it.
right? I was sitting here thinking, that is, you saw it.
Oh, sorry, flip the page.
I'm thinking, how did
Okay.
that,
Oh, because of that platform in the front.
We're looking at the beautiful wooden boat, it's not the wooden boat.
I was like, tell me.
That's the one he was comparing it to.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll swing it back to you, okay?
It is a very nice boat,
So that's it.
but as it stands right now, it is outside of our limits.
Right, right.
These things take photographs of.
I think so.
Sorry.
And the Lake Advisory Board did look this over,
Yeah.
and,
That's not the case.
you know, their request was to deny.
From the Lake Advisory.
That was their
Board.
recommendation,
Like,
yes.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Mr.
we need
Dennis,
to.
would you
yeah.
like to, do you have anything you'd like to say? Yes, please, come on.
Yeah, so the thought is that, I can.
Well, state your name
State
and
your
your
name and your
address.
address.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Will Dennis, and my address is 139 Picnic Point Road.
Yeah.
So I guess the logic was this, when I was talking to the Lake Advisory Board, I tried a couple, comments on the boat, and one of them was, hey, listen, it's actually shorter than my Mastercraft with its detachable swim platform. And it really has the platform itself has no impact on, the wake because it actually sits outside of the water. But I spoke to somebody about, cutting the swim platform off and then just reattaching it to it. And if I had that and did that, then it would technically, from a legal standpoint here, be the same boat, just with a cut-off swim platform. So rather than just kind of destroy the boat or tear it apart, I was hoping that you guys would consider allowing us to remove the length of the swim platform in consideration for the length of the boat.
So let me give a little bit of history. So when we did the 2006 study, they took a look at the amount of energy that the V-hulls put in general, the amount of length, and actually the recommendation at that time was somewhere 20 feet something, right? 20 feet, a couple inches, right, Dana? 11? No, I thought it was actually, but anyway, so we actually expanded it out to 21 feet to make it kind of easier. So your argument for this particular boat in this particular case has got some good points. This is the problem. We have a precedent of not allowing any boats greater than 21 feet. There have been a number, like 20 or 30, that we've actually rejected. Some of them, most of them, have a different configuration, different characteristics, not the same circumstances as yours, but the problem is that's the length, okay? State of North Carolina, when they do their measurements, it's bow to stern, including any integrated fiberglass that's on there, including the swim platform. So that's the standard for measurement. The problem, in my view, with allowing this is now the other 30 people we've opened the door for them to make an argument about how their boat would be acceptable in this circumstance. And I don't think we want to do that. So we're holding the standard in order to make it simple and consistent for everyone. That's the problem that we're up against. Not that your arguments aren't sound, but we just, it's a matter of the overall policy that we're looking at. So
Right.
that's the issue.
So can I ask a question
Yeah.
of you guys? If I remove the swim platform, what would be the process with you guys? Because once a hole identifier is issued, it typically doesn't, it's hard to get the registration or anything else to say something other than the length
Yeah,
of the boat.
we could, yeah, you can measure it and it overrides and put it into our system with a note to say that it is a removable swim, modification for removable.
And every year you come back, it would automatically pop up.
Yeah,
that
you
it
wouldn't
is
have,
done.
you don't have to do that once.
One time.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So if I had it removed, either the boat manufacturer who's custom doing it could send a letter to you guys or something saying, here's the length of the boat?
You bring the boat
Bring the
by,
boat by,
and
have
you
it
measure it
measured.
in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So,
It's
I mean-
kind of sad to do that, but,
I know. But we're looking, like I said,
It's
we're
just,
looking at the
yeah,
whole
to me,
picture.
it's 21 feet has to be 21 feet,
Right.
right.
right? I mean, I know that little 3 inches is really,
Yeah, well, my Mastercraft is 22 with the swim platform, and
Yeah.
weight,
Take
and
it
this
off. I
thing
know.
weighs 1,500 pounds, you know, it's like
I know,
so,
I know,
Yeah.
and you're not the only one that has that out here too, so.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think that's just what we
You
have to
see,
stay
all the
with.
boats are different. Some go to the transom and they go down, some are beveled at the transom, some have a swim platform that's attached there. They're all different configurations, and I don't think we wanna get into the situation where we're trying to interpret what that boat will do in our lake for all those special case circumstances.
Right.
That's the issue that we.
yeah, I think the thing for me to feel comfortable doing the work though, like I wanna make sure that I don't, you know, get in a situation where I bring the boat and you guys are like, well, it still kinda doesn't meet some sort of requirement or something
No,
like that.
no,
So
I-
like that's,
no,
that's,
I
that would
think-
be a huge concern for me, because
Yeah.
then now I'm trying to resell
Then you've
something
already
that I've
done.
modified and voided a warranty on.
I think you're, I think
I-
you, yeah, you,
I'm sorry,
you do
Jim,
what you're
before
gonna
you
do and let her
Yeah,
measure.
sorry.
Right.
Before you do the work, just ask a town employee to look at your boat.
It's
See
not
if
here,
there's
it's over on the
anything else.
coast, but I guess I could bring it by.
Or, I would think the spec sheet would inform the town, you know, if there's something else that could be a problem, let them look at it and, or just even the spec sheet, make sure
I
nothing
mean,
else.
from
is in.
what you guys saw, were there any other things about that boat that was a problem?
Not that we saw, other than the registration form and the manufacturer's spec sheet very clearly indicate that it is in fact in excess of 21 feet.
Right.
And that was the deciding factor, that the spec sheet.
Okay,
Right.
so,
The manufacturer said that.
Right.
everything else is fine.
So, before we do anything, go out and physically measure it, because we have had registrations that were incorrect, so I'd hate for you to.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no,
We
like,
actually-
that was kind of my point. I don't
Yeah.
wanna be like, oh, well, we just sawed it off and then
Have
come
you
in
measured
thinking
it?
it's gonna be.
Yeah, did you- have you
I haven't
measured-
even seen the boat.
Oh, you just.
I haven't even
not
touched it.
I got
Oh.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
It's been on the East Coast, cause I wasn't gonna bring it here unless I had permitting for it.
Sure.
And then there's more people to do the work on the fiberglass body on the East Coast
Yeah,
than there
for sure.
is up in here.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Get somebody down there to talk to
What
the
a
town
great
employee
idea.
on how we
Yeah.
measure.
I didn't realize you hadn't put a measurement on it.
Because we've had in the past registrations that were either too long or too short.
Mhm. We have.
Yeah,
And we're talking sometimes a couple feet, so,
We had one with
It
a
would-
36-pound differential
Right.
last year.
anyway, so that's an idea.
Yeah, I don't wanna do the work unless we're 100%.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
do that. I mean, we'll absolutely work with you.
But once
Yeah.
this is done, you don't have to worry about the Marine Commission changing their mind and deciding that's no longer acceptable.
Okay,
All right, if it's acceptable, it's acceptable, period.
understood. Well, thanks for the consideration. I do appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thanks, Will.
We do need to vote on
We
that.
have to,
Yep.
yeah.
So do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the boat permit for a motorized vessel exceeding the 21 length limit.
I'll
Hear a
second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then unanimously, the request to appeal denial of a 2024 boat permit for a motorized vehicle exceeding the 21-foot length limit is unanimously denied. We'll then move on to the Lake Advisory Board buoy recommendation, and is that
Dana, you
Dana?
present,
All right.
Dana's presenting that. Might as well just stay up there,
I
right?
know, I'll just hang out here for a while, it's fine. Yeah, so we took a look at the buoys and did a lot of research and looking at the past, and it turns out that some of it just wasn't quite in compliance with what our lake use regulations stated and what our requirements for the buoys were in the past. So we came across, we took the whole Lake Advisory Board out on the boat, we looked at the buoys, and they all made recommendations of where everything should ideally be. The previous plans, buoys were in multiple repetitive locations, everything like that. The new plan eliminates all those repetitive buoys and adds buoys in some areas where the channel narrows, and we really needed one. So
Is this drawing,
that's the new one.
this is the new one?
This is, okay.
And I have some printed copies of the old one. Didn't know if y'all had access to that or not.
Can I?
1 to 64, so we went from like 96 or so to 64.
Yeah, is that something y'all would
That's
want?
okay.
So it was
I
not only
think
a
I actually
reduction
have
in
that.
number, but better
I'm sure.
placement.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
two
Yeah,
things
yeah.
go together, I think.
They
Yeah.
really do.
Definitely.
They really do.
I mean, this was a thing, I mean, we started out with like 6 buoys in 2006. Then you add, 20 years later, you look around and go, how in the world did we get there?
How
That's,
many?
that's where, that's why we needed the resetting.
Yeah,
And,
we have more buoys on this lake than I think most lakes
yeah.
combined in
I
North
think Lake Norman
Carolina.
has like 8, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
The interesting, topography here is really our biggest challenge. From the LEB's perspective on the western corridor, I guess the north side, so Firefly Cove to
Yes.
Burnt Ridge Road, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 strategics in that stretch. And then at the edge, on the south side of Lakeland Village Resort, and then towards the end of Burnt Ridge, you got 59 and 58, but there's kind of an open swath of water there.
Mhm.
But there are some on the opposite side. I didn't know if there was two, with the developments of homes on that northern lake shore and that western corridor, if another one needed to be.
Are you talking about what
Like,
would be?
across from number 4 and 5, there's a little like finger that kind of tucks back on the western
Oh.
shoreline.
Okay, yeah.
Between 4 and
they-
5, I didn't know if that was, based on how the water flows, if it just wasn't necessary.
Yeah, so when we re-examined it,
Yeah.
it really wasn't.
Okay.
And so the way everything flows, once you come around and you have buoy 59 there,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much got a clear shot to 60,
Okay.
and it's not that much of an
Yeah,
indention
and
there.
that's the
Yeah.
bottleneck. We
Yeah.
like to
That's
call the
pretty-
bottleneck, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
commercial lake tours, that was that bottleneck we always would stop in right there. So
Yeah.
just something I wanted to kind of ask about as I was
Okay.
looking at it. Mhm.
Any other questions?
I think we need to talk about a strategy here. I think we had talked about earlier getting this out on the website for public comment, for later approval, or approving it right away is the other option.
Mhm.
I mean,
Was this,
What were you hoping to accomplish by
yeah, I'm,
Because we're gonna get a public comment, so do we wanna do it before, or do we wanna do it before approval or after?
well, this was done
Okay.
by the Lake Advisory Board.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
was.
It's
Yeah,
recommendation from the
You guys
Lake Advisory
recommended it.
Board.
You've been out there. Dave Lusk has moved
Yeah.
every one of these buoys probably 400 times
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
I do want to give a
Sorry.
shout out to Dave Lusk.
Thank you.
Yes.
To Dana, who,
Yep.
the rest of us went out there and we line of sighted the whole thing, but the majority of the work, all of the work was done by Dave and Dana.
Yeah,
And, there was a lot of thought put into this. We really wanted to get it done, we wanted to get it to you now before the season started,
Right.
rather than delay it, and
Yep.
so.
okay.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
We'd certainly always be willing to take comments after
Yeah, I mean-
it was approved anyway, so that's a
Okay.
given, we would take comments, but I think there's been a lot of, careful and, and careful consideration of it.
We have considered, we got emails
Right.
from people who knew we were doing this. We went out and specifically looked at some of these places where the, emails were coming to.
Mhm.
Also, also
Yeah.
think it's gonna make it easier to enforce, since there are fewer buoys, we can enforce what you can and cannot do with, when there's a buoy there.
Yeah, I agree with all
There's
that.
so many now, it's really hard to
I think
enforce
it's
that.
okay.
It is.
I think the work's been done to,
Right, but that's,
you know, so
any other comment on that?
And
Does
then
everyone
I mean,
feel comfortable?
You just
approving it?
need to realize there's gonna be a public comment, okay?
That's
When-
okay.
Because
I mean,
people had put in an application years ago, what's happened to my buoy? So that's coming, but, we'll just handle it case by case.
But once again, I think we need to, with that message, we
Yeah.
need to send out how we're gonna enforce compliance with buoys.
Right.
Cause I'm not sure having 100 of them made
I mean, we went
compliance
from
any
6
better.
to 100.
Right.
No, right.
and-
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it'll,
Another comment on
of
it?
course,
We actually were going to rewrite the little pamphlet that had the buoy plan on it and the application form for the buoys. And went through and looked at it, and it's as applicable today as it was the day that it was made.
Yeah.
And we've realigned this to pretty much go with that. And so it is our plan to codify what's in that on the next update of the warrant. So if that's what you're
Yeah.
asking, that we can actually put that into, we actually found that the buoys, when the council moved the, lake structures regulations over to zoning, the buoys actually, we found that went with them. So we wanna pull the buoys out of the lake structures and put them back over into the lake use regulations and codify the regulation or the requirements for having a buoy.
Perfect. Yeah, okay, good.
And that would actually come with our recommendation at the September meeting to implement the new update on the.
and you know,
For the
when you
next-
do that, I think maybe some presentation there that includes an explanation of how it works, how the buoys work,
Yeah.
in helping us keep the lake
That's
safe.
actually a good
I'm
idea.
not sure some
Efficacy,
people, when they
absolutely.
ask for another buoy, really, that's really what they need is another buoy.
Yeah.
So I think that might help too.
Yeah.
I think
There
that's
was,
great.
Right.
I had one more if I may. And as, to the mayor's point, absolutely. Over the course of the summer between buoys 2 and 2A, that's the south shoreline on the west corridor where our non-motorized boat access
Yes.
is gonna be highly utilized without having to pay for permits this year. We're gonna have increased, boater activity of non-motorized services. And between 2 and 2A, people are probably gonna hug that shoreline before they hug the opposite side, near the gazebo and the river and Firefly. That 2 and 2A would be a point of, monitoring for this summer, just to kind of see
Yeah.
if people get to kicking too fast, too far, and too close to the shoreline for our non-motorized, access users
I
over the
think
course of the
we
summer.
added 2A just for that
We
purpose.
did, yeah.
2A.
2A was added?
Added just
Yeah.
for that,
For
for
that,
that very
okay,
reason.
so we're halfway
yeah.
down the road,
Yeah.
that's perfect, that's
I was
wonderful.
laughing, why do we go 2A? And
Yeah, it
Okay.
that was the
well,
very
I was
last one we
wondering
added in.
too, Cause we had 100, yeah, so, okay, that's
Yeah.
great, but I'd love to still kind of monitor that side of the shoreline, cause people are gonna tend to hug right when they're out there, so.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the Lake Advisory Board's buoy placement plan as recommended.
I would, second that motion, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Then, the council unanimously approves the Lake Advisory Board buoy recommendations. It's a mouthful. You may just stay where you are if you'd like to.
So,
I know,
I just have a
myself.
question on implementation, so we
Yes.
approved it today.
Yes.
It makes it official, it's not a change in lake use regulations, it's a operationalization of lake use regulations.
It is.
So you're gonna take this and move these buoys like when?
We absolutely can move forward as soon as you want us to.
Right away.
What you doing tomorrow,
I would
Dave?
Do it, yeah.
Yeah.
You busy on Wednesday, Dave?
Yeah. Dave, you don't have anything, I'll tell you what, Dave, we'll get you a shiny new fireboat to go out there and do it on that. You can do it on
We can start this week. I'll get with you.
that. Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dave.
we
Yeah,
all-
thank
we
you.
all
Thank you, Ms.
appreciate
West.
it.
And all you got- I know
David,
that
not
was-
just today,
that
we
took
all
you guys a
appreciate
little
how
time
much
to
work
figure
you
that
do.
out.
We truly, your ongoing and daily work for the town is unbelievable.
Yes, yes, very
Okay, we will
helpful.
move on then to item D, which is to discuss permits for non-motorized boats. And, Scott?
I mean, obviously, this past year, we removed permits for non-motorized boats. I think that was a good thing. I do think we have some unintended consequences, and I think we kind of knew that was gonna happen as well. because we always said, well, we always have the right to come back and put them back on there if we want to. But I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think we've done what we've done seems like made a lot of people happy. I think it's been a good,
I don't
thing to
disagree
do.
with that, but I have had innumerable concerns by people that, after that has happened, there are many, many more people on non-motorized boats on the lake. And their concern is a couple of issues. One is that you have no way of knowing if they've ever read any of the regulations because it's not required if you have no permit, and that's absolutely true, okay? Number two, what exactly are you gonna do to them? You can't take away their permit, okay? So what are your options if they're breaking whatever regulation it is that they may not know, whether they're supposed to or not? And just the sheer numbers of people. So there is a lot of concern out there, and I think it would be not reasonable to say that it's not a result of taking away the permits. This unfortunately seems to me somewhat to be a you do or you don't thing, because I'm not sure where the middle ground is. You either require permits or you don't require permits for them. But I do think, I've noticed just on the lake so far, and we're not even into the season, even more people out in the middle. And concerns by boaters, actually, that, and so, the first thing is, well, it's their problem. They're on a, kayak or whatever, or as they get hit or whatever, but these are concerns by the people who are in boats saying, I'm afraid that as we try to avoid them, there's gonna be an accident. So I think it is worthy for discussion, and I don't know that we're at the point, and we certainly need to have more discussion as we just sort of see how it's working, but I think we all realize these unintended consequences were possible unintended consequences. One of the salient reasons that we used was it was too much work to issue permits for all those people, and took too much staff time to issue all those permits. There are possible other ways to accomplish that, if it's all online as an example, if that's the reason that we're not doing it. So Scott and I were talking about it, and a couple of commissioners, I think we certainly need to give this a good look this year. I think certainly nothing right now would be done. Certainly you can't do it in the middle of the season, but as we come up to next year, I think we need to reflect on
Yeah,
how
I
we
know it's
feel
on
about how-
LAB's radar. Dave and I were talking earlier, and Kathy, that they're gonna look at it really hard. I know Chief,
And Tyler is sending us reports, and are you, if you don't mind me asking, are you guys keeping track of, part of the reason that we did this as well was to make it easier, because enforcement was a nightmare
Mhm.
for the police department. Especially since they only had a permit on one side of the little vessel, and it was ridiculous. But are you now keeping track at all of how many times you just have to tell them to get out of the way? Okay. Because that might be something that
That'd be good to
you're
know.
not writing citations.
Right.
But a little tick mark of how many times, in the report that Tyler gives to the LAB every month about the citations and the warnings and the safety checks, just a little tick mark on how many times you had to correct a non-motorized. Because otherwise, if we're not issuing citations, we're not issuing warnings, that really is hard to capture.
It is.
Other than just by visual observation.
It is.
We are working on the problem, so we have
Yeah.
2 big signs that we've ordered. One of them's gonna go near the gazebo out on that bank, the other one's gonna go on the riverside.
And I don't disagree with that, but one of the things, whether it's sort of, so you can count on this too much, but when you sign that you have studied the regulations, okay, in order to get your permit, that is sort of your agreement that you know the regulations. It's not very hard to pass that test, so let's don't be, strange about saying that it is. But on the other hand, you have signed and said, I know what the regulations are. There's just no way that you can hold these people accountable.
You can use that same logic for bicycles riding on the road. How about we just stick with some personal responsibility and have people pay attention and do the right things?
So,
Yeah.
well, the is, if it's in the middle of the season, 4th of July, and there's a non-motorized boat in the middle of the lake, maybe a citation is in order.
Yeah, how do we, yeah, I mean.
Right,
It's
well, we
obviously
absolutely
against the
can.
rules.
The way, and it's up to the officer. Anybody
Right.
can cite them for
Sure.
being in the middle because
Okay.
they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, we can still
Normally, we
cite
can
them.
give a warning, but if we see you back out there, we issue a citation, but we
Yeah.
can immediately issue. It's just up to the officer.
We had a problem before you took away the permits. We have 3 houses on lot 4.
Can I ask you, no, no, excuse me, can you speak up a little bit? All right, thank you.
I live on Havner's Point Circle, and we have 4 houses on the block, 3 or 4. But anyway, I can stand in one of them and watch on the main body, and I've already been seeing another. And basically, before you took away the permits, there wasn't a lot of people from Asheville, Spartanburg, even people in Chimney Rock did not put their kayaks on the lake, because they didn't want to pay the fee.
Mhm.
But I thought, when you and I talked about this, when you released the permit, I thought you were making them take the test. So they know no rules when they go on our lake?
Well, you don't know if they do or not. That's the problem. You can't really ascertain if they
Right.
do.
Count on people to be sensible, let's forget that, because I catch them in the pink
Yeah.
floats in the middle of the lake, one of our houses. So I think if you're gonna keep up with how many people you talk to, maybe you should start keeping up with every call we give, because we will be calling them, and I'll be videoing. But I think it was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake when you took the permits away, and I think we haven't even made it through a summer.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I like so much about our Lake Advisory Board and kind of the way we're operating, once we began to review the lake use regulations, is everybody has been willing to look at changes in the regulations, as in the regulations that affected the fishermen, okay? And after looking at it, decided if there needed to be some sort of change, alteration to them, to make them more practical. So I think that the Lake Advisory Board is doing a real good job of not just saying we've put our imprimatur on it and this is it, we'll never change it, but really looking at it. So I think we have this year, and with the Lake Advisory Board, to really look at it and see what's the effect of this, and we may need to do something else, so.
So let me ask, Wade, as a business owner who rents, you know, the paddle boards and such, what do you tell those people when you rent them one of those boards? Do you tell them where they're supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's people come in, but I was just, my comment would be, is that I think it's really hard to hold anybody responsible when there's no sign telling them what they're supposed to do.
Right, and if she's got signs coming, so that's,
They're
again,
already here.
and to Barbara's point,
But until that
Well,
day, I mean,
they
it's.
can
Right.
have a permit, then
I get
it's
it.
easy.
They're gonna be installed tomorrow.
permanent.
Signs are here.
Well,
The signs are here. They're being
yeah.
installed tomorrow.
Licensing, they do it.
And that's the thing, we've been going for 6 weeks with kayaks.
Well, they got permits out there now, and
Yeah.
they're not doing it.
People are gonna go out there and do whatever they wanna do, and I don't have time to go out there and talk to everybody. And, frankly, they're taking money out of my pocket, so.
well, and I'm looking at this, you know, kind of to Barbara's point, you know, to Kathy's point, your point, Mayor's point, Dana's, you know, we knew that there was gonna be something come along with this, right? We just knew it.
Yeah.
And I think if we didn't make a very good decision, then, well, maybe we didn't. But if we work this through, I think if we don't just throw everything out and just say, go back to permits tomorrow. I think if we come up with maybe another solution, then some folks can enjoy the lake that live around here. Maybe they come in town to put their kayak on the lake, and they go to a restaurant, or they spend the weekend and spend some money in town. But if we have the signs coming, you guys are, you know, hammering it out there, making sure, telling them. And if you I personally feel like if you tell someone they need to be here, and then you catch them again, I say that they have to take the kayak off the lake immediately. Put it in your boat, get in with you, and you take them to where they need to go. There is no fine. Some people don't care about a fine. That's irrelevant. But if you take the boat out, put it out, take it off, and make them leave right away. Again, I'm just,
Licensing.
yeah, I mean, I'm just,
I mean, you gotta look at, first of all, you gotta develop policy that fixes the problem, right? Right, and just to say permits, we know permits doesn't fix the problem, because we've always had the problem. Matter of fact, I will tell you, the people that I've seen out there have a permit because they're CN permits, okay? So the people that are coming from Sunken Buffalo, whenever, they're one of the worst offenders that are out there, they're not abiding by it, and there is a permit on that non-motorized. So we have to figure out what policy will help us to get those people out of the middle of the lake. And a key is enforcement. Now, we're a little down because we're down one police officer now, right, Chief? So once we ramp up and get that data, and I guess what we're asking you, Chief, get that data to us. How many people are out there in the middle? Give us a sense of that. Then we can try to, and Barbara, as you said, the licensing thing, they're not required now. Maybe that may be a part of it. And let's figure out some sort of policy to get them out of the middle of the lake.
And one of the reasons we wanted,
Yeah.
we wanted this on the agenda today, because it has been brought up, the concerns. And so, we're gonna be considering this from a lot of different aspects over this year, which will give us more information to be able to make a change. Just one second, yes.
Yeah,
Yep. Jim had something you,
Hold on.
Is there, who should we call? If we, like I live out, you guys know where I live, and we get a lot of traffic, and since Memorial Day, we've had a lot of people in the middle. Just paddle out there and sit, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you crazy? Like, they're skiing.
So your question is, to whom should you report it?
Yes.
And the answer is,
So either or, you can call me, you can call the police department. Yeah. Yeah, it'll get you right to them.
you were not being facetious there, you actually mean it, call 911.
Yeah,
All right.
the board, they'll get it
So I
right
don't
to
think
them.
that would occur to most people, I'm just gonna tell you. That's why I'm reiterating it, because I don't think most people would think that that would
yeah.
be appropriate to call 911 for that, so I'm glad to know that that is. But I agree with you.
I mean, you,
Call either, but you can call 911, that's what it's there for. You can call it as any kind of violation, any kind of occurrence that you see, you need an officer. respond to
Yeah.
the most direct route.
So I've got two things to say. One to Barbara is, as soon as you call 911, the first thing you say is this is non-emergency.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're dealing with something else, they'll put you
They'll
on hold.
dispatch.
But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say before then was something we've done in the past that I've talked to Dana about, and maybe do again, is particularly for the commercial vessels, the town used to have these stickers with basic rules on it, that we just gave out.
Mhm.
I think that would be really handy
Oh, okay.
to, every non-motorized boat has a little thing reminding people what the rules are.
That's
I mean, I
great
think
idea.
anybody that's renting a,
We still have boxes of those.
yeah, anybody
Well,
that
then we
rents a,
Boxes and boxes of
Well-
those, but they don't stick.
Oh.
Really? 'Cause mine did.
They stick for the first time you have it out there, and then they fall off.
Put it on the
and
forehead.
get clogged.
yeah, anybody that rents a boat commercially here, non-motorized, motorized, whatever, needs something, right? We can't really stop somebody that rolls in here from wherever, but
Right.
if somebody on this lake is doing it out of our,
Super cool.
then we need to
We
make
can
sure
hand
that
it
they know.
out.
Cause that would probably help a lot, just having that done, and, Wade, he knows, they know what to do.
Yeah, we could have it put on the commercial kayaks and everything.
Something that just says you understand the rule.
Right.
I know the new signs are here. Oh, go ahead.
Worrying about the kayaks and everything, but ones of us have boats on the lake, especially if you have a commercial boat, you're paying plenty for your permits, okay? So we seem to be catering, in my opinion, more to kayaks and stuff than the people that are paying a lot of property tax and a lot of boat permits. I think, what's our commercial now? Vacation rental, $3 grand? So you guys are catering to people with kayaks that aren't paying us a penny. And the ones of us that have boats and wanna go out and enjoy, do we pay the taxes? for Lake
Barbara,
Michigan?
in all honesty, I would look at it differently, okay? So we've opened up access to people that wanna come and enjoy Lake Lure in a natural setting, kinda like a national park. So the goodwill, actually, if you take a look at the goodwill that was transferred to the people that live around the lake that don't have a motorized access to the lake, they are thrilled that Lake Lure has done something to move forward to allow people to enjoy the natural beauty. The issue is,
What about just the county? Why Asheville, why Greenville, why so many
Well,
places?
okay, so why would a county resident be
Well,
different
I
than?
bring a lot of people in too. We have
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm bringing an enormous amount of people from East Louisiana, okay? And a lot of them have bought houses since.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, think about us too.
Well, of course, I mean,
I do think,
Oh, yeah,
one
yeah.
concern that's been brought up to me too is a lot of these people are young people. I mean, young, not younger than us, young people, okay, who probably maybe don't have the best judgment anyway, and that's some of the big concerns about them being out there is maybe, they don't know the regulations, maybe they don't have enough just inherent wherewithal, I guess, or not very realistic about what they're doing, which is how you live in that time. So I do think we need to be cautious about that, and I do think that if you do see someone, as you would in any other situation, and you felt like they were putting themselves in harm's way or someone else, you should report it. You really should, and so that's one reason I wanted you to say that works, Chief. So call 911, say it's not an emergency, and report it, because I have seen some very young people out
I mean, I've pulled up to two ladies sitting on kayaks, on paddle boards, and pretty much right where Patrick was talking about, go around the corner, and they're just sitting there. And I just pulled up over there, way away from them, and I just said, hey, guys, just FYI, you need to be inside the buoy, that's a rule on the lake, and also, you're gonna sit out here in the middle, in one of the worst places you're gonna be, you're gonna get run over.
But it is dangerous for the
And,
boats too.
and the
They're
boaters,
coming
yeah,
straight.
I'm the last guy that wants to hit somebody, so,
Right.
but, okay, I think
We'll try
I
to
think-
develop policy.
And so this will be ongoing. This is
Yeah.
not the last time we'll be thinking about it. This will be ongoing throughout this year. The Lake Advisory Board will be
Yeah.
looking at it, Parks and Rec
Yeah.
will be looking at it, and we'll be giving updates. So continue to notice what's going on, make appropriate
Yep.
calls, and
That's good.
bring forward to us any information that you
Unless
have.
you get the report from the county.
Yeah. And,
I'll also add that, our finance department is monitoring the financial impacts of it.
Okay.
Thank you,
We'll
yes.
have that information as well.
Perfect. All right.
Dana, if there's room for it, I know that this stuff is online and stuff, and the signage is good. For folks like myself, if I see a QR code, I'm pulling my phone out, I'm scanning it, I'm pulling it up, and you can get a quick laminated one that pops on the side of the signs you just bought that are going up tomorrow. And this map could have a red line that goes all the way around or a green line around and then a red line in the middle. And the QR code that's laminated they could at least have it on their device while they're out on the water to give them some point of reference. Just some point of reference for that. But personal responsibility is the number one issue that we have when people come into our facilities and they just don't understand.
Right, yeah, the Pool Creek sign that used to be right there at Pool Creek Park,
Yeah.
redesigning it,
Nice.
to have some stuff, that's something we've talked about integrating as a QR code, because you're right, it's
I have one
it's
for my
everywhere.
Wi-Fi at home when
Yeah.
my friends visit. Yeah, they just pull their phone out.
Yeah, we want to integrate it for the
Pop in,
trails and
yeah.
everything, so yes, we will
It's a
definitely
small
look into
thing,
that.
but it could go a long
Yeah.
way.
Just keep us updated then. Thank you. so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am.
Thank
Yep.
you very
No
much.
Thank you all thank you guys.
Yes, thank you for bringing it up.
everybody chiming
So,
in.
We are very happy to see that our, every year, Long Away for Boy Scout troop is here to discuss with us. So do I hear, and I know you were a little earlier on the agenda, but do I hear a minute to go ahead and
Yeah, let's go.
and do that now?
Yep.
So we will have then, item A, the Boy Scout Troop 605 Annual Report.
Afternoon. Thank you for circling back to us. We had a little bit of scheduling difference. We thought
We
it was
understand
5.
those.
So I apologize about that. But, we're here, we've got a few of our boys, and we're just here once again to say thank you for letting us, enjoy this lake, enjoy having boats and all these kayaks and things out here. Every year, it's a huge benefit to our boys, to our scouts, to come out here and, enjoy staying in the lake, staying camping, fishing, all that kinds of things. We've had several trips this year already, and I can say every one of them hopefully have enjoyed it. Yeah, we really like it. We continue to try and service the lake as best as we can. We do, pretty much every time we're down here, we're walking around Tryon Bay Circle, picking up trash, doing cleanups. There's plenty of bears and plenty of trash everywhere. They continue to get into them, which is good with us. It's stuff to do. Picking up trash out of the lake, things like that. We're just trying to be good residents with the lake. We do plan on joining this Friday for the flag retirement ceremony.
Nice.
So we will see y'all there. So
Awesome.
it's really nice. We got invited to that recently. So we do appreciate that. We will gladly come out there. But yeah, this year I don't have a big presentation planned like we did last year. But we do appreciate what everything y'all do for us and hope we can.
I have one comment if I could. So as I go by that, your place, I always think about you. I noticed the docks aren't getting any younger. So you may want to get some prospective Eagle Scouts down there and do a project down there just to stable. I'm getting a little concerned that it's getting a little bit out of hand, so you may want to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's definitely always something that's, kind of there in the back of the mind.
Yeah.
Recently this year, this winter, when the lake was down, we did tear down the old little one that was off to the
Yeah,
left.
I saw that. Yeah.
It was just getting too unsafe for anybody to be around.
I'm with you.
So we pulled that out when the lake
Okay.
was down. The other two boathouses, like I said, they're always there. If money was not an object, they'd be beautiful. Being a volunteer organization, things like that, getting funding is just a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is something that's there and things that we will adjust,
We
as
may
we
be,
can.
we may be able to be a little innovative and go out to the community to say that there's a need, because I don't think people know there's a
I
need.
don't think so either.
And
And I
so,
think they would,
yeah.
If that's something, that we can,
I
we
think
can,
people would jump on an opportunity to help, so.
well, if we can
Let's-
connect on that and
Yeah, let's
get
do
something
that, and
planned.
I know Laura can.
I'm not sure
help
how
us
many
with
people
that.
in this room know that the Boy Scouts even have a dock on this lake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
grew
knew
up.
it.
Hey, that doesn't count you. okay?
Some of us knew mine wanted to be.
Well, you don't count either, but.
But it is important.
That's a great idea.
It is, and I
Yeah.
think there are a lot of people who would be eager to help with that. So maybe we can get together and sort of craft something to
Yeah.
let people know what the situation is, and.
We'd be very appreciative of that.
Yeah, that
love
would be
to
great.
help.
And we do appreciate, everything that you all are doing, we truly do, and, the good thing is, every single year you come back without fail, and we hear more about what you're doing, so it
try.
wasn't just a one-time thing, so
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you
you for
very
that,
much for
yeah.
what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I think there are a lot of people.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, this is a legacy item that the Edneyville Boy Scout Troop 605 have been for a lot of years, and the commission gives them 2 complimentary motorized boat permits and 2 non-motorized boat permits.
Yeah.
So these young men can go out and be good stewards of our community and
Learn about boating.
learn more about natural resources and how to be good stewards of our local region. So we're very, very happy that they're here. And the Marine Commission grants us complimentary permits each year. And that's part of our requirement is for them to come, and they can actually be seen by our community too, so.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, so we will move on then to where we were, which is something that is bittersweet to us, and yet we wouldn't possibly let this opportunity go by. I think everyone knows by now that Dean Gibbons is retiring, and I tried to force him to say that he wouldn't do that, but he's bigger than I am. But we all appreciate what he's given to this town in so many different capacities, truly, and he just has become a figure. I know since my grandchildren were here little, they would see him out there, and being big doesn't hurt either in that position, because they were little and he was big, so that, for little boys, that makes quite a statement. But we did want to take this opportunity, and so, Dean, if you will come forward. So, proclamation number 24-06-11, honoring the dedicated service of Dean Gibbons. Whereas Dean Gibbons will have completed 18 and a half years exemplary service, let's just say he was like 12, for the town of Lake Lure from May 2006 to July 2024. Whereas Dean Gibbons was hired as a law enforcement officer from May 2006 to serve and protect the town of Lake Lure. Whereas Dean Gibbons has had an intricate role in the creation of the Lake Operations Department and was appointed as the first Lake Operations Director in December 2007. Whereas Dean Gibbons eventually took on the role of Parks, Recreation, and Lake Director when the Lake Operations Department was expanded in March 2020, And whereas Dean Gibbons worked closely with, fully supported, and maintained the trust of the Marine Commission and the Town Council as they work to overcome the complex challenges dredging, parks management, and lake operations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of the Lake Lure Marine Commission and the citizens of the town of Lake Lure, the Lake Lure Marine Commission expresses deep and sincere dedicated service to the town of Lake Lure and wishes him the best in his retirement, read, approved, and adopted on this, the 11th day of June, 2024. And so now we would like Chief Humphreys to have an opportunity to speak too. Dean's always had sort of a dual role.
The roast begins now.
The
yes.
roast. Exactly. The roast.
Customary for the agency from which the officer is retiring to grant him his firearm and his badge. This is governed by general statute, already know proclamation to make it official. On behalf of the town of Lake Lure and at the direction of Mayor Carol C. Pritchett and the Lake Lure Marine Commission, in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 20-187.2, I'm honored to present Dean Gibbons with his badge and sidearm upon his retirement after 18 and a half years of service as a law enforcement officer.
I'm not a speech person.
So there being no other items of business on our agenda, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. And this may be the first time that we actually
Perfect.
made it exactly to go right into the town council meeting. So we'll take a little break.
Oh,
You
that's
just
fine.
don't have to
Intermission.
get up and walk out if you don't want to stay, right?
Chief, reserve officer positions are available too.
You don't want to take a 5-minute break?
Yes, please.
Let's take a 5-minute
Yes, sir.
break
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
we'll
that's fine.
come back. We already.